Hello everyone, I'm welcome to Golden Nova's First Reacts, where I react first to all the things you want to see reacted to first, as long as I'm the first person you come to react to things first. And sometimes things drop in inopportune times. We've seen some Atlantean Umi stuff drop, we've seen the new Ashura cards drop, and I haven't done a lot of talking about them. Life happens, but I'm going to use the recent release of that new Mirror Force retrain to justify talking about all the stuff that we have dropped these past few times. So let's go ahead and get started here with not a new card, but I did not want to let this opportunity pass us by. We're getting a new Zork! It's been decades since we saw the Dark Master return, and as not a ritual, so it could be playable in any number of things. I'm keeping my eye on this one for sure. Okay, real cards. It is Mind Mirror Force. Another gigantic frame break. This is... Look, I've said it once, I'll say it again. I just really wish that they were doing more creative things with the card frame, especially Toons! If you expected any archetype to mess with the conventions of how cardboard is structured, it would be Toons. But we don't have Mimicat like coiling around a border. We don't have Manga Ryurin grabbing onto one of the names for dear life as they get blasted. It's just a scene, which, you know, it's fine. The art is itself very technically well done. I just wish they were doing more with it. Anyway, Mind Mirror Force is a normal trap card. If your opponent controls 5 or more face-up cards, this card's activation and effect cannot be negated. Also can be activated the turn that it was set, so if they've got an established board, we can deploy this ASAP. At any of the following timings, so presumably not just attacking, at any of the... That's so... Has that wording ever been used? I'm keeping an eye out for that one. At any of the following timings, negate the effects of as many face-up cards your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, destroy them. Your monsters cannot attack directly until the end of the next turn after this card resolves. Okay, so that's a pretty huge restriction. And it does negate them. It does destroy them too, so it negates to get rid of all their protections and then blasts them. So anything short of being unaffected by card effects. Okay, so it happens when an opponent's monster declares, with the highest attack declares an attack. When your opponent activates a monster effect that would destroy a card on the field, or cards. Or when your opponent activates a monster effect in the hand or field during your turn. That is so funny. That is such a funny board breaker. Are you kidding me? So you go second with this. You make sure you set this, because this does not activate in the hand. You can activate the turn it's set, but you have to make sure you put it on the board first. And then during your turn, if they try to pop something, or if they try to use a monster effect, you just go, I don't think so, buddy. And it can't be responded to. Is this the new Nibiru? It can't be the new Nibiru because it doesn't actually stop the setup, but I feel like there's a lot less guesswork on this one. Your opponent establishes the board, you get this set, and then once they have reached like the 5 face-up card limit, they're in for some trouble. I guess the issue here is that 5 face-up cards is like, if you contextualize an opponent's setup as 5 face-up monsters, then this works out really well, but I don't think that's going to happen. Now, there could be a few face-up spell or trap cards that stick around depending on the matchup, so I guess this isn't universal, but even if you don't meet these requirements, you can still activate it at any of these times once the regular trap ruling is active, and then blast a whole bunch of stuff. So this is... I'm giving this a tentative. Looking back at it now, I think the 5 face-up requirement might be a little much, but maybe if you can force your opponent to have a bunch of face-up cards, then it could be anything. I guess what also cool about this is that it says it's a Mirror Force, but this hits all face-up cards, so it's not just about the attacking. It's also about the floodgating, too. So, big on the lookout for that one. Next one is one that I have read. Unfortunately, I was getting ready for a project. I'm not going to give any details away about it because I don't think that's my place to say, but I will say to check Wham Bam Duel's channel in the future. You might see a little something. But part of that project involved this card, which I'd initially overlooked because I thought this was a Rush Duel card, largely because it was an overframe that featured Kanan the Sword Mistress, who has like is a part of Rush Duel canon. So I just thought, oh, that's got an RD next to it, and I can overlook this. But no, actually, this card is bonkers. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn that special summons a normal monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard in defense position. It must be level 4 or lower if from the deck, or if you control a normal monster card, you can apply one of these effects instead. Destroy all monsters your opponent controls, destroy all spell and trap cards your opponent controls, draw 2 cards, or special summon a monster from either player's graveyard to your field. Now, does that sound familiar? It should, because this is another card that has bundled together a bunch of cards that were famously forbidden at some point. We have Raigeki, we have Harpy's Feather Duster, we have Pot of Greed, we have Monster Reborn, stapled onto an unrestricted and even easier to use Unexpected Die. Granted, Unexpected Die does not have a hard once per turn, but it requires you to have an empty field, so that was effectively a hard once per turn. This one has that, but you can summon a level 4 or lower normal monster from the deck with this as normal, but if you're running any higher level ones, you can summon them from the hand or graveyard as needed. I guess the issue here is that the monster's coming out in defense position, so if you were hoping to use your normal monster for some kind of beatdown, then I guess you're out of luck. But, come on! This card is absolutely bonkers. It's wild that this card exists. I'm telling you, this is, like, it doesn't need you to have an empty field first. I guess also, Moby, you should probably get your tail out of the way. That would be pretty good for metrics, I guess. Unless you want to see Big Poof instead of me, which, you know, I've seen people watch media with stranger avatars, so who knows. But no, if you're already running normal monsters, this is like an easy inclusion because, I guess if you're running low-level normal monsters, it only has utility with higher-level normal monsters if they're already, like, out of your deck. Though decks that do run those tend to have a way to pull them out already. Blue Eyes decks have several ways to get Blue Eyes out of the deck, so this can just handle summoning from those spaces. And then if you control a normal monster, you just get to blast stuff. Normal monster card, by the way, so if you are running a Pendulum deck that has normal Pendulum monsters, this can summon them from the deck, or it can trigger the additional ones if you just have them in the Pendulum zone. This is a silly card. I would expect to see this, maybe not in droves, but this is a silly card for sure. Alright, next up, another Singleton, Spatial Trunade. This one completely flew under my radar. I did not know that this existed until we were doing, until I was getting all of these tabs put together. Normal spell card, you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Return up to 2 cards on the field to the hand. Then each player places cards from their hand on the bottom of the deck in any order equal to the number returned to their hand. Oh, okay. So you can remove anything from the field. You can hit your opponent for 2, and then they have to bottom 2 cards from their hand. Holy cow. And it doesn't target. Like, they can keep the card if they want. I think also if you remove an extra deck monster, this is not going to make them return like take cards from their hand and put them on the bottom of the deck because technically the card didn't return to their hand. But it is still a way to remove those monsters in a way that avoids any kind of like graveyard or protection triggering. And then they're forced to like. They're not even like getting the same number of cards. They're still losing cards. They might not forever lose the card that you hit, but they are still losing cards. This is kind of silly. Huh? This might be a card that we see forever, because this is 2 cards on the field. Not face up, not face down, not monster, not spell, not trap. 2 cards on the field this removes, and you don't target it. Am I missing something? Because I feel like this should be on everyone's mind right now. Everyone should be talking about this. All of that I've just talked about is outrageous removal, and then we have to remember that this just talks about cards on the field. If we have bricks in our hand that we want back in the deck, you put them on the bottom while recycling one of your own cards. Granted, it's not a quick play spell card, so we can't use this to save any of our own stuff at quick speed, but we are still recycling some things that might have some good reactivation triggers, like field spells, or... Oh god, the floodgate nonsense that could go up with this one. You can get things that you don't want to play under during your turn, and then reactivate them during your opponent's turn. This card is silly. Huh? Oh, this card's seeing play. This card's seeing play. I am sitting here knowing this is going to hit play, and if I am saying some silly stuff, I can't wait to hear the comments saying otherwise, but this card is bonkers. Who printed this? Huh? That's wild. Okay, new archetype. Not Ashura, as I said during the beginning of the video, the Asutra. I saw the Empire Ian's thumbnail. There's only trap cards involved. Please notice this theme is very Japanese and Buddhist coded theme. The names of all cards are subject to change. So we might have a Sword Soul situation on our hands. Excellent swords, though. Very, oh my god, the reptiles that we all just had an issue with. Habakiri. Very Habakiri coded. Okay, first up is Akasuna, the Golden Deity Asutra, a level 8 Fiend monster with 3000 attack and 300 defense. You can only special summon with the way in this card's one effect per turn, and you can only use the second and third effects once per turn. First, you can special summon this card from your hand by revealing one of your set cards and returning it to the hand or extra deck. Second, during the main phase as a quick effect, you can send one trap card from your hand or face down field to the graveyard to change all face-up monsters your opponent controls to face-down defense position. And third, during your end phase, you can set in a Sutra trap from your deck. Okay. That's kind of nutty. So, we have to get rid of the set card by returning... Oh, we can return to the hand. So if we just like set a trap card, reveal it, and it goes up here. I saw extra deck, and I'm like, oh, so we got to get rid of that card forever. No, this is outrageously easy to summon. So we can reveal that. We have a quick effect Book of Eclipse for our opponent, which is huge. And then we get defeated every turn by getting a new trap card during each of our end phases. Place your bets now if we will have effects on our trap cards that care if we send them to the graveyard. Hello, Tempest. If you heard meowing in the background, that was this little lady. She has had some things to talk about. Oh, baby. Okay. All right. We're gonna pet Tempest while we review these next ones. Kuzuha, the bewitched deity of Sutra. We're just gonna take a look here. Level 8 Earth Insect, 2800 attack, 1500 defense. Hello, Tempest. Welcome back. You can only special summon this card with its one effect per turn, and you can only use the second and third effect once per turn each. First effect, you can special summon this card from your hand by revealing one of your set cards and returning it to the hand or extra deck. So, this is like, all the high level ones might have that effect too. So that's pretty good. That's good for consistency. So like one trap card in your hand can summon out all of the Asutras that are in your hand. So bonkers. You can target, second effect, you can target up to one card on the field for every 2 set cards and destroy them. This does not count hours. It just says it just looks for set cards. And then third, during your end phase, you can target in a Sutra trap card in your graveyard and set it. Oh, so this one just gets back our cards. Hello, Tempest. You ready to go? You ready? You're done here? You're done with cuddling? Okay. Okay. Mass removal, the more things that are set. Wild stuff. What's our next play here? The level 7 Wind Spellcaster, Yoa, the Plague Deity of Sutra, a level 7 Wind Spellcaster, 2400 attack, 1500 defense, has the same special summon condition as the rest of our cards. During your main phase, you can set in a Sutra spell or trap card from your deck. Okay, fantastic. Third, during your opponent's turn, as a quick effect, you can target one face-up monster on the field and increase or decrease its level by 1. So that's just here for messing with levels for stuff. So Exceeds and Synchro Summoning. it hits that. That can be pretty useful in certain situations. Not decks that I would play, though. I only play fusions, and we don't care about levels at all. So, also, it hits any monster on the field, not just our opponents. It's just during our opponent's turn, so maybe we care about levels in some way. This is another solid inclusion. This gets us the Asutra trap card immediately, so we can... Even if... What's wild here is that if we have an Asutra quick play spell card, we can use Yoa to set that spell card and then reveal it, summon out one of our other Asutras, put it back in our hand, and then play it. Silly. That's a wild thing about this. It doesn't say you can't activate the effects of the revealed card. No. You're just going to get to play those cards anyway. This is... I'm kind of losing it. Mikumari, the Sealing Deity Asutra, a level 7 water worm monster with 2,000 attack and 2,500 defense. We have our usual special summoning clause that we've seen so far, and second, during your main phase, you can add a non-worm Asutra monster from your deck to your hand. Third, if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material for an Asutra monster, you can target one normal trap card in your graveyard and set it. Not archetypal! We get to recycle silly trap cards. Uh-oh. If these weren't all non-fiends, then we would be seeing some Labyrinth crossover. Will there be anything going on here? I guess we'll find out. Next up, we have Asutraja Susanoo, a level 9 Fire Fiend Synchro monster with 3,300 attack and 0 defense. Notably, the one that this keys off of, it's completely generic, so that's cool. But the one that this seems to key off of is our Fire one, and they're level 8, and we have not seen a tuner monster yet, so we could be seeing it. I said Sword Soul earlier. Maybe we have a thing where if we reveal the trap card, we get to make a little token tuner. And it worked for them so well, I don't see why we can't do it again. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. First effect, if this card is synchro summoned, you can banish any number of trap cards from your graveyard to banish that many cards on the field. So when you are ready to obliterate your opponent, this is what you use. And then during the end phase, you can target up to 2 Asutra monsters and or Asutra trap cards in your graveyard and or banishment. For each of them, add it to your hand or set it. And then if you targeted 2 cards, return this card to the extra deck. Okay, so it's not for free. But as long as we only do 1 per turn, we can keep this around. So that's pretty good. If anything, we want to return it back to the extra deck because then we get to synchro summon it again. So it's also during the end phase. Oh, this is not during your end phase. Oh, the value on this thing. You return 1 trap card on your turn so that you can set it and have it active or put it back in your hand, whatever you want to do. And then during your opponent's end phase, you return to put this back and then play it again. Presumably. That's pretty cool. Sutraya Mikumari no Mikoto. Level 8 water worm synchro monster with 3,000 attack and 2,500 defense requiring generic materials. You can only use the first effect of this card once per turn. Okay. We'll have to keep an eye out for that second effect. If this card is special summoned, you can send in a Sutra card from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, send 1 card on the field to the graveyard. Oh, great! Foolish Burial and removal. That doesn't even destroy, it just sends. It doesn't even target, it just sends. Second, if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can target an Asutra trap card in your graveyard or banishment, or if there are 3 or more set cards on the field, you can target a trap card in your graveyard instead and set it. Remember, this is not once per turn. So whenever our opponent activates a monster effect, we are getting free stuff. And the more that happens, the more set cards are happening. And the more set that happens, you get to get any trap card. Boo. We're not even to the trap cards yet. Okay, Asutrashin Trichiliocosm. Trichiliocosm. That's the one. Asutrashin Big Gate. Is a field spell card. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. Notably, this can be searched with Yoa, so we have access to this pretty easily. You can target, first effect, you can target any number of your set cards. Add Asutra cards from your deck to your hand with different names from each other equal to the number of those targeted cards that are still face down except field spells. Then send those set cards to the graveyard. So we don't get to reuse them to summon the cards that we grabbed. So that's an important thing to keep note of. Though if you only need 1, then, getting rid of 1 means you can leave some in reserve. Second, if any number of cards become set while you control an Asutra monster and a set card, you can target one card on the field and return it to the hand. Once again, this can hit their cards, this can hit our cards, so we can bounce whomever, though we'll probably hit opponent's cards more often than not. Notably, this is if a card becomes set. So we already have cards like both of our synchros that can set cards at different points during our opponent's turn. No, it's probably going to be this synchro more than the other one. That can trigger this, so keep an eye out, because this is going to come out of nowhere and just snipe some cards that you weren't expecting. Asutra Insect Poison, normal trap card. Okay, we finally get these ones. Special summon this card as a normal monster, level 1 insect. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Special summon this normal monster. Then immediately after this effect resolves, you can synchro summon a monster or target an Asutra monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Oh, those are tasty. Those are both pretty tasty. So we get to summon our dinguses. We can reveal Insect Poison and go, hey, I've got this. Set it. Summon our big doofuses. And then during our opponent's turn, go, hey, remember this? Boom. Make a synchro. Very silly. Very silly. Does this do the same thing? Okay, so this is notably not the same thing. Asutra Cursed Roar. Oh, I should keep in mind that it is a level 1 Dark Insect Tuner monster. It's not treated as a trap card. That's probably because it's not a continuous card, so that's why it's not a trap card still. Okay, but this one, that one made an insect token. This makes a spellcaster token. So I guess we're going to have a tuner for each of the different types that were seen originally. So we get to make a token. We get to synchro summon at quick speed. Its alternate effect, if you have an Asutra monster in your field or graveyard, target a monster your opponent controls and destroy it. So we had a revival trap card. Now we have a removal card. Our third one is Asutra Divine Domain. It has the... it summons Aqua Tuner, not a worm like I thought it was gonna be. We have an Aqua one. It does the quick synchro, and then its alternate effect: when your opponent activates a spell or trap card or effect that, and they control no set cards, negate that effect. Very funny. Very funny idea. So we want to bounce our set cards back to our hand for our summons, and then control set cards to amplify our other effects. But then we also want to use our bounce effects to get rid of our opponent's set cards to turn Divine Domain online. Okay. That's pretty funny. Oh, man. And you know what? No, that doesn't... I was thinking about the interplay between the deck that cares about all set cards and the Mind Mirror Force that cares about our opponent having a bunch of face-up cards. Those two things aren't mutually exclusive necessarily. None of these cards flip our opponent's cards face-up or give them cards. So maybe not the same thing, but I guess keep it in mind. These cards are pretty cracked already. We have general trap card synergies with a lot of these cards. So there's some ridiculous trap cards out there that we get to recycle over and over again. And even if we don't, we're recycling these ones that give us tuners that are unrestricted for usage. There is nothing on any of these cards that say they have to be used for a certain thing. So we can quick summon a lot of different cards that also just have other general effects when we don't want to synchro. We have cards that recycle them. These are set up to do some damage for sure. Wow, have we had a 100% banger rating this entire reveal? These are crazy. Keep your eye on the Sutras. I think these are going to do something for sure. Easy to deploy, low material requirement to make it work, as long as you have a trap card or a spell card that you can keep bouncing back to your hand. These cards are outrageous, and their base attack power is already really good, so you can just swing out with them like wild. Woo! Woo! Okay. Next up, we have the Atlantis cards! Okay, I'm looking forward to these. I love all of this. I'm pretty sure it's as confirmed as it can get that like the Mermales and the Atlanteans are basically in the same canon, and that means we get to add a bunch of other cities together, including Daedalus. It appears that I don't think Daedalus was confirmed as part of that whole continuity. So it's cool to see that creature here. Atlantis Dragon Lord Daedalus, level 7 Water Sea Serpent, 2600 attack, 1500 defense. You can only use this card's name first and third effect once per turn. First, if you control Atlantis, the Dragon City, or Umi, you can special summon this card from your hand. Neat. There are a ton of cards whose name is Umi, as it turns out, or turn into Umi. Second, this card's name becomes Umi. We're not even trying anymore. We're just not even trying anymore. We're slapping this effect on everything. Wait, hold on. You can only use the first and second effect. This is once per turn. This is once per turn. Are you telling me that if you can get one of these on the board, you can just drop a bunch of these guys on the field at once? Is that what you're telling me? If I draw 3 of these and I play Legendary Ocean, I just go. Okay. Okay. You can send up to 3 face-up. It's a joke now. It's a joke now. It's a joke. We spent all these years playing around with the idea that all these cards that are treated as Umi always can't share space in a deck, and now we're just slapping Umi on everything and just saying, hey, just send some Umis to the graveyard. Just send them like they're nothing. You can send up to 3 face-up Umi you control. It doesn't even keep this name. It hits the field and becomes Umi. You can send up to 3 face-up Umis that you control to the graveyard. Up to, so it doesn't have to be 3, but it's up to. Add an equal number of cards that mention Atlantis, the Dragon City, from your deck to your hand, except level 7 monsters, so no adding more Daedaluses. Then you can send 1 card on the field to the graveyard. Kind of like Daedalus's regular effect. It would send a field spell, blast something. Oh, because the originals would send Umi to do things. That's why it does that. They're so funny. I am already in love with these cards already. This is so funny. General of Atlantis. It's so cool to see these. We had Warrior of Atlantis for the longest time, and then no other creatures in this whole setting looked like this, and now we get to have more of these. I love it. Level 5 Water Sea Serpent, 2100 attack, 1400 defense. You can discard this card to add a spell or trap card that mentions Atlantis, the Dragon City, from your deck to your hand, so like Warrior of Atlantis, but for this thing. Second, this card's name becomes Umi. What is the monster zone? It's Umi time. We have Umi. Third, if this card is in your graveyard and you control Umi, you can special summon this card. Oh, sick. So we discard it. I have a feeling that Atlantis, the Dragon City, might itself act as Umi. So if it talks about itself, then it can grab this, play it, and then you can summon this from the graveyard. Once again, not limited. Does not have a summon limit on it. You can, the more Generals of Atlantis you have on the field, the more you can just summon for free, which you can chew up with the new Daedalus, which will then blast something and then search you cards. Holy cow, this is outrageous. Look at this. Like, this contains the word Umi. This is Umi. So you send an Umi to graveyard, you grab a General of Atlantis, you pitch it, you get one of your spell and trap cards, then you summon it immediately because this freaking thing's name is Umi! Level 4 Water Sea Serpent, Monstrous Arms of Atlantis. Look at that. Look at that creature. 1500 attack, 1200 defense. You can only use the first and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. Umi. Actually, I'm lying. Actually, we need to go back and talk about this. Yeah. Nova, go back. Nova, go back. You're confusing the continuous effect with all the summon things on here. You can't keep doing that forever. Okay, thank God. Thank God. I'm not going to lose it, though. I rambled on it for 2 cards. I already know that there's, like, 18% of the comments are already questioning me before this video is over. And you goofed it. You've boofed it. I caught it. And all of you will be known as fools. Perhaps not more of a fool than the guy who was ranting about how this was all busted. But, you know, if I'm going down, I'm taking you with me. That's my thought process on it. Okay. Let's go back here to Monstrous Arms. Okay. So if this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one monster in your graveyard that mentions Atlantis, the Dragon City, and special summon it in defense position. So we get another body. Becomes Umi in the monster zone. Great. When your opponent activates a monster effect as a quick effect, you can banish this card from your field or graveyard and send a face-up Umi that you control to the graveyard to negate that effect. And a lot of them are going to be called Umi, so it'll be difficult not to have the material to do this with. Okay. It's monster effects, but it's pretty good. It doesn't destroy the card, by the way, but it is it is going to negate it, and sometimes that's enough. Okay, next up is Fiendish Vortex of Atlantis. Level 4 Water Sea Serpent Monster, 1400 attack, 1800 defense. You can only use this card's first and third effect once per turn. And second effect is being Umiel in the monster zone. No one would have guessed! First, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can send one card that mentions Atlantis, the Dragon City, from your deck to the graveyard, except a copy of this card. And third, if this card is sent to the graveyard and you control Umi, you can special summon a water monster from your hand. Doesn't care how it's sent to the graveyard, so we can tribute it with our new Daedalus. We can link it off for all we care. The question will be, do these cards work functionally in the graveyard? I mean, General can summon itself, and Monstrous Arms has a negate in the graveyard, so there's lots of reasons to enjoy, or lots of reasons to assume that there's some good things to send to the graveyard. Maybe there's more. Let's take a look at the Link monster that I've been seeing so many images of. Blue Ocean Dragon Lord Neo Daedalus Rage. What is this thing? It's got the cranium fish brain on there. What is that? Link 4 Water Sea Serpent, 2900 attack. It has the Topologic Bomber Dragon arrows, 1 top, 3 bottom. It requires 4 monsters. It needs, like, there's no way to cheat this. It's got to be 4 monsters. This is not that big ol' other Water Sea Serpents. It's this. If this card is Link summoned, you can special summon up to 3 monsters that mention Atlantis, the Dragon City, from your graveyard to your zones this card points to. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn. This card's name becomes Umi while in the monster zone, and once per turn as a quick effect, you can send one face of Umi you control to the graveyard to send all cards on the field to the graveyard except Umi. So that's like the reverse, right? Beforehand, we would send Umi to blow up everything else. Now it's send an Umi to only leave Umis. There will only be Umis left. That's so funny. That is hilarious. We need to get 4 materials on the board to make this, but it does refund itself effectively. Like, you get 4, you turn them into 1 Link monster that summons 3 more. And then you have a quick effect that just blasts everything else on the field. Wild. Levia Dragoon Daedalus. Whoa. Levia Dragoon is back? Crazy. Okay, this is a Link 3 monster requiring 3 water monsters as material. Once again, we cannot cheat on any of this. If this card is Link summoned, you can special summon 1 monster that mentions Atlantis, the Dragon City, from your deck. This card's name becomes Umi while in the monster zone. And third, during the main phase, as a quick effect, you can send 1 phase of Umi you control to the graveyard. Your opponent discards their entire hand, and if they do, they draw the same number of cards. Neither player can activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. Okay, so this is the thing that I was hearing where people were talking about this being undrollable, which is good. You know, it's good that we can't do the hand loop nonsense thing. I guess if you know your opponent has certain cards in their hand, being able to like make them cycle is pretty good. I don't know about this one. I guess it just gets you like an Atlantis the Dragon City monster, so that's pretty good. Boy, the fact that you just can't cheat these Link monsters though is kind of wild, honestly. But you know, say lovey. Okay, Atlantis the Dragon City. We are finally at this field spell we've been talking about so much. You can only use the third effect of this card's name each once per turn. First, the levels of all monsters in both players' hands and field are decreased by 1 while you control a monster that mentions Atlantis the Dragon City. So it is Ancient City, or Legendary Ocean, for everything once we have an on-theme monster on the board. You can Link summon Daedalus monsters with 1 less material. Reduce the number of materials listed for the Link summon of all Daedalus monsters by... Wait. You can Link summon Daedalus monsters with 1 less material. Reduce the number of materials listed for the Link summon of all Daedalus... That's saying that twice? Huh? 1 less material. Reduce the number of materials listed for the Link summon of all Daedalus 101. So you can Link summon with 1 less material, and then everyone can reduce the material by 1. Right? Because this is dataless. This is a dataless. So you can make... That has to be what it is, because that's the only difference. One lists you, one lists one in general, which means that they stack? Is this a translation error at all? Or is this how this really works? Because the way I'm reading this is that if you have Atlantis the Dragon City, that's a 2 material reduction in cost, which means that you can use 1 material to make Levia Dragon, which becomes a different one, and that's 2 materials, and there's a 2 material discount on this one, which means you would just be able to make this out of those. If this card you control is in your graveyard and you control Umi, you can place this card face up on your field. Okay, so while this one does not become Umi and is not always treated as Umi, this is so funny. This is a deck that is primarily part of a series that requires a field spell to become the name Umi to enable all the other cards. But now, we have a bunch of monsters who become Umi that enable their field spell to come back and do all of its stuff. Am I reading this right? Does this mean that if I control the field spell, my opponent's Datalists cost 1 less material, and then mine cost 2 less? That's gotta be what it is, right? Okay. It's fine. This is fine. This is fine. Next up is Atlantis Call. Normal spell card. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. Firstly, add a monster that mentions Atlantis the Dragon City from your deck to your hand. Then if you control Atlantis the Dragon City, you can negate the effects of one effect monster your opponent controls until the end of this turn. Hey, that's pretty slick. Oh, I guess... okay, this card does mention Atlantis the Dragon City, so we can grab General, pitch this, get the field spell. We have that on field. Oh, but that does not become an Umi. This does not become an Umi, so we do not get to reborn our General. Huh. Okay. Noted. Second, if you control Umi, you can banish this card from your graveyard. All water monsters you currently control gain 500 attack and defense. That's gross. That's a huge boost. If you have a bunch of jerks on board, they all get big. So, yeah. Searches Atlantis the Dragon City via getting General. Grabs any of our other monsters. Stupendous card. Atlantis Advent. Ooh, looking at some murals here. Continue with spell card. This card's name becomes Umi while on the field. Of course it does. It becomes Umi. During your main phase, you can place an Atlantis the Dragon City or Umi from your deck face up in your field zone. And then third, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a level 7 Sea Serpent monster from your deck to your hand. Okay, so we pitch the General. We grab this. We play Atlantis. Its name becomes Umi. And then we get to place Atlantis in our field spell zone. Because this is an Umi, General gets to come back. And then if we have a thing that sends an Umi to the graveyard to activate anything, we get a level 7 Sea Serpent, which is the Daedalus. Okay. And then Daedalus Maelstrom. This is the last card. You can only use one of the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn, and only once per turn. First effect, when your opponent would normal or special summon any number of monsters while you control Atlantis the Dragon City, negate the summon, and if you do, destroy those monsters. Then if you control a water link monster, you can destroy all non-water monsters on the field. Second effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard and send a face-up Umi you control to the graveyard, then target one monster your opponent controls and send it to the graveyard. That's wild. And this mentions Atlantis the Dragon City, so our thing that sends those cards to the graveyard, but send a card so we can use this to send the trap card so that we can get a freebie. Oh, can we do with this? If this card's sent to the graveyard, so we can use... So when this monster says send a card that mentions Atlantis the Dragon City from the deck to the graveyard, it's a little innocuous, like, oh, maybe they'll set us some other things. No, this triggers half of our deck. This is a Searcher. This is a Stratos. Don't let anything else, don't let these other Scylla mouths tell you otherwise. I'm telling you that this is a Stratos. Okay. if the link reduction works the way that I think it does, we have something funny on our hands. The fact that this also does the whole level reduction nonsense while having a bunch of cards that still say Umi elsewhere does kind of mean that this works with those cards as well. It remains to be seen if the level reduction... We were talking earlier about how we had a monster in the Sutras that can reduce a level. This isn't for all of them, which means that maybe Xyz monsters can pivot, but there's a lot of decks that aren't going to like messing with the level math that happens here, if that's part of their game plan anyway, and so we get to add that as part of our floodgating here. These are solid. These are some really good cards, and I love that they're messing around with the Umi formula here. Just remember to not listen to my first 5 minutes with this deck, and you'll have a good understanding of this. These cards are crazy. These cards are so nutty. I'm here for this. I can't wait to see more of these. These are going to be pretty crunked up. Still bangers, and we still haven't talked about Adamancipator. Adamancipator is back, folks. The meta deck from the times that shall not be mentioned is back. And from what I've been hearing, better than ever. Now, what I'm looking for, and I think I've seen art so far that confirms this, there's like a trap card or a counter trap card in Adamancipator that has some kind of dark core monster, and I'm hoping that we get to explore that, because that was just like a random thing that they introduced but never followed up on. So we're going to start with Adamancipator Conductor, a level 6 Earth Rock Tuner monster, 1400 attack, 1100 defense. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is in your hand, you can place one other Adamancipator card from your hand on top of your deck to special summon this card. Well, if only we had Adamancipator cards. That's actually not as good. Well, let's do the second effect. During your main phase, you can excavate the top 5 cards of your deck, and if you do, you can special summon an excavated level 4 or lower rock monster. Also place the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Okay, so the thing about this is that most Adamancipator decks that we saw did not play a critical mass of them. You effectively played the tuner monsters that you could summon out of your hand so that they could peel through your deck, but the eggs only worked when they were like excavated and summoned, which meant that they didn't play well with like combos and stuff, so people cut a lot of those. This is clearly intended to set up one of the eggs, but will people play the eggs? I don't know. The eggs didn't have good effects beforehand. I don't know if that changes now, but we do have a new one, and it is a dark one. It is evil. Adamancipator Crystal Tiamite, a level 4 Dark Rock monster, 0 attack, 2200 defense. Tiamat, like Tiamat the dragon. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. First, if this card was special summoned by an Adamancipator card's effect, you can add an Adamancipator card from your deck to your hand, except a copy of this card. Then you can special summon a rock monster from your hand. Nifty. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target a rock synchro monster on your field or in your graveyard, return it to the extra deck, and if you do, place this card on the top of your deck. I believe that's a classic egg effect. You get to recycle your stuff, put it back into rotation. This is pretty slick, right? So you set this on top of your deck with Conductor, summon it, use its effect, peel off the top 5 cards of your deck, ignore the other 4 because you know you have Tiamite on top of your deck, summon it, add any Adamancipator card, which might be a rock monster, then you summon it. It's probably going to be another one of the tuner monsters, because I will bet you dollars to donuts that I'm looking at 10 levels right there, so that it mixes with our level 6 tuner from up there, and then we can let our other tuner begin gambling off the top of our deck to make more stuff. This seems like an egg that people would play, I think. If, you know, because this can trigger off of any of our other Adamancipators too, and I think this is, you know, a more worthwhile effect than the other ones. Next up is Adamancipator Risen Tiamite, a level 10 Dark Rock Synchro monster, 3300 attack, 2200 defense, requires generic materials. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If you have a dark monster in your graveyard, you can add an Adamancipator spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. Wild, so just every turn, new card. Of course, we're going to have a dark monster. We're running the Adamancipator, the dark one, is going to be in there. We're not going to put it back until this thing leaves. And then second effect, when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field as a quick effect, you can activate the top 5 cards of your deck, and if you do, you can return cards your opponent controls to the hand up to the number of rock monsters excavated. Also place the excavated cards on the bottom of the deck in any order. So this is Dragite, Tiamite, Dragite. It's like poetry, it rhymes. That is so sick looking. Big bismuth energy, wild stuff. So this is a reactive version of Dragite's removal effect, which is very good. It's great. You can play both of these together. They both have great synergy. This is awesome. This is good. Okay, Adamancipator Luminous, a Link 2 light rock link monster, middle left and bottom arrows as material, 1800 attack, big charmer energy right here. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. First, if this card is Link summoned or a monster special summoned to a zone this card points to, you can target one monster in your field or graveyard that has a level. Special summon a Glimmer token with the same level. So, that's Synchro Material. We're putting Synchro Material out here. When another monster on the field activates its effect as a quick effect, you can place it at the top of the... Wait, what? What? So, like, this works against our opponent, right? Like, we can, like, oh, you activate your effect to the top of the deck with you. Fate Sealed. But, like... we could... So, our opponent, like, I activate my Adamancipator Tuner's effect to execute the top 5 cards of my deck. Fool, I will put it back on top of your deck. Would you like to summon it with its own effect? That would be funny. I don't know if there's any utility for that one. But that is something to keep in mind. That is very funny. Okay, that's cool. So we get to make Synchro Material, and we also just have a funny piece of removal. Okay, next was Adamancipator Mites. We had Adamancipator Friends. Now it's time for the Mites. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. Add an Adamancipator monster from your deck to your hand. Oh, crikey. That works with Tiamite because that searches just spells and traps, but now I just get to add monsters. Oh, that's gov. If this card's in your graveyard, you can place one card from your hand on top of your deck to add this card to your hand. Oh, watcha! That's wild. So you get to stack the top of your deck, put this in your hand. Now, granted, if you play this before you tip some cards over, then you have messed up what the top card of your deck is, so you do have to have a little more planning if you want to utilize it to its full effect. But this is still pretty good, because in general, it does just search you a card. And these aren't mutually exclusive, so you can activate the first effect. It's in your graveyard, and then you can summon the Adamancipator Tuner that you definitely searched out, and then you can place a rock monster that you wanted to summon on top of your deck and then tip over for it, while putting it back in your hand to use it next turn. Also, now that we mention it, I'm gonna look at Dwimmered Glimmer really quickly. Dwimmered Glimmer, is that a... Was that an Adamancipator card the whole time? Was that in contention, or am I just making stuff up? No. Dwimmered Glimmer was a Endymion card the whole time. No? Wait, hold the stone here. Wait, one sec. I thought it was an Endymion, but check this out. So there's a little dragon pet, there's a little dark crystal, and there's a little spellcaster there. And there's the big, like, gleaming jewel thing. That's that kid. That's that kid, right? Little curly staff. They were seeding this the entire time. I'm so mad. Is that conductor that's in the stone? That's trapped in the stone. When did Dwimmered Glimmer come out? This is a 2019 card. This was before... No, wait a second. Adamancipator Analyzer. I want a date. I want a date here. Adamancipator was released in Secret Slayers in 2020. Dwimmered Glimmer was a support card that came out in Rising Rampage in 2019. That's like that's an 8-month lead time that this came out. Dwimmered Glimmer, and then we didn't get a follow-up on any of that until we had all the Adamancipator cards that didn't mention this at all. That makes a spell read this. Read this, folks. Let me get this moved over here. Dwimmered Glimmer. Activate this by banishing a face-up monster you control or a monster in your graveyard. Special summon this card as a normal monster, which is a light spellcaster with the same level as that banished monster. This card is also still a trap card. Light spellcaster? This is not a... That's had nothing to do with... Every time I look at more details, the side ponytail, the little staff with the little jewel on top of it... What is happening? Huh? And who's this? Is this Tiamite? Is this like it's not a crystallized version like all the other ones are? Is this from some other I'm mad. I'm mad. I'm so mad at them right now. How could they do this to us? What? And then mates in the background, we haven't... No, that's a Dray guy. That's a Dray guy for sure. Never mind. Don't listen to me. But still. Huh? Wabada? Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Don't you talk to me. I'm done here. Capsule Monster Chest. I was so excited to talk about this. I saw we had the reveal for this. Capsule Monster Chest field spell card. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. During the main phase, the turn player can target one monster in their graveyard and place it face up in their spell and trap card zone as a continuous spell card. During the end phase, the turn player can send a face-up monster card they control to the graveyard. That player special summons a monster from their deck with the same original type and attribute, but is 1, 2, or 3 original levels higher. Okay, that's actually kind of funny. So welcome back, Snake Eyes Temple. So the turn player gets to put a monster, and then during that person's end phase, they get to trade it in for a higher level monster. That's cute. That's a cute, fun card. I don't know what deck uses this, but this is a fun little card. I want to play this in Domain so bad. I want to play this in this so bad. That's so funny. Because I guess you can utilize it. Like, you can know that you'll utilize it better than your opponent. They might not have a deck that has, like, monotype and attribute. Or have levels high enough to utilize this. But in Domain format, this is funky. Like, everyone gets to put cards in their back row, and then maybe they get to do something random. This is a fun card. This seems like a really fun card. I definitely didn't see this one. Swickalavi, the brilliantly crowned heavy cavalry. Look at... Oh, that is a centaur, baby. Oh my god. They put the centaur parts in the wrong place. That is not the head that you use on that. Rank 3 Light Beast Warrior with 2,000 attack and defense, requiring 2 level 3 monsters as material. But once per turn, you can also exceed summon this card by using a beast monster you control with 2,000 or less attack as material, and cannot be used as material for an exceed summon itself. So we can't just keep stacking this infinitely. If this card destroys a monster by battle, place a crown counter on it, then apply this effect based on the number of crown counters on it. This card gains 400 attack if it has 1, then if it has 2, it has 600 attack, and then if it has 3, return this card to the extra deck, and if you do, draw 3 cards. Is this a Triple Crown reference? Swift and Knuckleavi, a mythological demonic horse from Orcadia. boy howdy, do I have tales about Nucalavis from my Pathfinder 2E games. Those monsters were terrifying. Second, its name, rank, and effect also reference the Triple Crown of Thoroughbred Racing. 2,000 meters is the length of the Satsuki Sho, 2,400 meters is the length of the Tokyo Yushun, and the Kikuka Sho is 3,000 meters. So it was 2,000 base. Then it's 2,400. Though, my understanding is that these two won't stack. Because it's not 1 plus or 2 plus. It's just 1, 2, 3. So it becomes 2,000, 24, 26. So this is just a joke card, right? Like, this doesn't actually do anything. You'd have to get the counters on here, which means you have to kill 3 monsters in battle over the course of 3 turns. Which isn't happening. So, but this is fun. This is a funny card. Maybe you give it a multiple attack bonus with something. I don't know. Don't listen to me. I'm a stooge. Okay, and lastly, the last of the Unchained cards. I did not see these as ones. I saw the first wave, but I didn't see these second 2. So now we're gonna check them out now. Unchained Malevolent Magistrate Kimura. Oh, they're an asshole. they're just a jerk. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. First, you can target up to 3 cards you control. Destroy them, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. Then, you can apply these effects in sequence based on the original types of the cards destroyed. If you destroyed a monster, draw a card. If you destroyed a spell, change a monster's battle position. And if you destroyed a trap, destroy one other card on the field. And if this card on the field is destroyed by a card effect, you can destroy all monsters on the field. Wow, okay, that's a wild enabler. That's crazy. I know that all the trap cards have an effect where if they're blasted, you get to summon a monster. So getting to do that, and this is up to 3 cards. You don't have to do all of them. Wow, that's a wild enabler for stuff, and you just get like a level 8 monster on board. No, you're not draw 3 cards. Yeah. Yeah. Notably, you don't get to repeat the same one over and over again if you blast 3 monsters. It's just check to see if you destroyed those cards, and then applies those if you did. And then Reincarnation of the Unchained, continue a spell card. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. First, when this card resolves, you can add an Unchained spell, except Reincarnation of the Unchained, or an Abomination's Prison from your deck to your hand. Second, once per turn, you can target up to 3 Unchained cards in your graveyard, except a copy of this card. Shuffle them into the deck, and then you can destroy other cards you control up to the number shuffled. You control, so it's an enabler, not anything else. Abomination's Prison. Okay, is this random Unchained spell card? That is not an Unchained card. This one, folks. Add an Unchained card from your deck to your hand. If the second card is destroyed by an effect, you can special summon an Unchained monster from your deck. Wow. Okay, well. Solid cards. Oh, okay. So I was thinking about this like it was a normal spell card, so its second effect activated in the graveyard. No, you play this, it's on the board, you get your Unchained / Abomination's Prison, and then while it's on the board, you can recycle your Unchained cards to blast your own stuff so that you can trigger their effects so you can get stuff done. Okay, these are some solid additions for sure. I'm sure more trained Unchained heads will know the true value of these cards, but these seem pretty good. What are you talking about? What is happening here? Developers, I thought I was going to talk about the Mirror Force in the thumbnail. Nope, I've got other words to say about this. This is wild. These cards are outrageous. I'm super happy that Beyond the Brave has so many fantastic cards to look forward to. Banger looking set. None of those cards seem like maybe there's something about them that doesn't land that I'm not aware of, but they seem like they have an internal engine that works consistently, that gets them powerful effects that do interesting things. Those are the kind of cards that I want to see in this game. What's going on here? What is happening here? Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Down below, let me know what your favorite cards out of this reveals were. Are there any combos that I missed out on? Is there any interactions that went completely over my head? Am I overhyping anything? Am I underhyping anything? I want to hear all of your information down below so that I can absorb it and add it to my own collective information. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time... This episode is brought to you by Dragon Shield. Get the sleeves as strong as dragon scales and save 5% on your order by using the coupon code GoldenNova at checkout while helping out the channel. It was also brought to you by my lovely patrons, including this month's illustrious Quasar Commanders, Upstairs Media and Ignavius, Nebula Navigator's Third Dynasty, Adam Zajdel, Ancient Wizard, Andrew Newman, Battle Axe, Beastsman, Charlie Mercury, Christopher Fuss, Clockswork, Eric, Frankie, Great Big Pillock, Groog, Hairbear, Harry the Ominous Benefactor, Iron Zero, Iskander 711, Japan Man, Carp, Marion James E. Picata, Meme King, Muse Clark, Neon Yaminair, Orozco 09096, Panther J, Rebel King Lucifer, Red Eyes Jackalow, RJ the Jank Monarch, That One Dumbass, The Critic of Innocence and the Wizard Moose, Cosmic Crusaders, Animasta, Anthrak, Anything You Can Say, Blitzwolf, Chaz Ghost, Christopher Fuss, again, Cool Trainer Dark, The Tenchi 67, Dr. Entity RIP, Drachenwald, Eki Bullock, Eva Padilla, Herbal D, Inblink, J.A. Flair, Julian Marquez, Kale the Dragon, Kryptonian Blurred, Lobomaru 02, Manga Pages, Millennia Asta, Mr. Machina, Natiel the Alexander, Not Al Gore, Obsidian, Papa Cosmic, Rhyme Kairos, Rogue Wolf, Seraph SG, Shizuka Nijimura, Simic Toadstool, Sonic 21 Blast, Stephen Huntsman, The Legendary Raven, The Queen of Time, Tiger X2476, Tristan O'Meara, Rider 2400, Zayden, Zaldrika, and Zentha, as well as all the lovely Starlight Explorers you see on screen now. If you'd like to help me in my journey to cover all of Yu-Gi-Oh's archetypes, get my videos early, be a part of these credits and other awesome perks, it would mean the world to me if you would check out the link to my Patreon in the description or consider joining as a YouTube member.